Hello there. So, something that I used to struggle with, being someone who has struggled with their relationship with food in the past, is traveling and how to eat when you're traveling. And so, I'm taking you along with me today as I am on a 7-hour road trip on what I'm eating and how I'm going to eat. So, one thing that I used to do, I'm waiting in line for coffee right now. So, hold on. Safety first. I used to think I needed to eat a lot of fruits, a lot of veggies, and nothing too calorie dense. And that just didn't work out because you're sitting all day, you're not moving, and you're eating a bunch of fiber, and that just messed up my gut so much. And so I'd have a bellyache, and you'd have poop problems by the end of the day. And so what I've started doing is not eating tons of fruits and veggies when I travel, and it makes my belly a lot happier. So another thing I do is when I drink coffee every day. It's usually just with milk and honey, and so it's nothing too crazy. But when I travel, I like to treat myself to a nice coffee and an iced latte with some yummy syrup in it. And I think I'll do a hot latte today because it's cold, hence the earmuffs. And so first stop is I'm going to get a latte, and I'll tell you about that later or after I get it. I don't know what's on their menu today, and so I might get something a little fun, a little maybe Christmassy, because tomorrow is December 1st. So another thing is, I know someone I know like doesn't eat a lot when they travel, and I'm like, is that why you're kind of grumpy sometimes? You don't have to skip breakfast. Even so, when you're traveling, you're not moving a lot, you're sitting a lot. You don't have to skip meals. Like, your body still needs energy to perform its basic functions, even if you were to sit still all day. And so on my drive to where I'm at now, before I left, I stopped and I got a breakfast sandwich and a coffee, it was a hot latte. It was a honey latte, and I got a turkey and cheddar bagel sandwich, and it was delicious. And I had no guilt about eating a bagel, which in the past I would have had a huge issue having that many carbs and just sitting all day. I had a bagel sandwich. It was great. This morning so far, I've only had a fig bar, which I love these. I love those. That are great for travel, easy to travel with. And today, I didn't leave as early as I planned, and I had some vehicle things to take care of, and so I haven't eaten anything since. And now it's like, what time is it? It's past 11:30, and I woke up at 7, so I am a little hungry. So I'm going to have another fig bar, and I'm going to have my delicious latte, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. And that's just the way it's going to be. So again, I'll tell you more about it later, and we're moving up in the coffee line, and I'll just tell you more about how I'm eating as I travel as the day goes along. All right, we're going to try to avoid the sun rays while recording this. So I made my first stop. I've successfully got coffee. So I got a 12-ounce latte, and I had caramel syrup and raspberry syrup added. The two together are like a pastry with coffee. And I got an extra shot of espresso just because my palate has matured, and I like having an extra shot to balance out the sweetness of the syrup that they typically add. And I love a local coffee shop over a chain just about any day. But that aside, I did have, as promised, one of my fig bars. Before I made my coffee stop, I was quite hungry, and then I just didn't feel hungry. Partially, it was probably to do with a little bit because of drinking the latte, but also I was kind of consumed with driving and blah, blah, blah. So I made my first stop. It is now 3 o'clock. Time flies. I usually don't I usually don't travel this late in the day for where I'm at. But I made my first stop for gas and bathroom and to let the dog out. She's in the back. You may have seen her ears earlier. Now, not all gas stations are created equal, but I am someone who gets food from gas stations versus stopping at a fast food place, just because the gas stations I stop at I have to stop for gas, and I don't want to have to make 2 stops, and thankfully the gas stations that I stop at are decently equipped. So a few things that I like to get. I'll first show you what I got. I got some grapes. These are easy to eat when you're traveling, especially if you're the driver, so my hands don't get messy. I got a big cheese stick. I got cheddar cheese. I'm a cheddar cheese kind of gal. I got a little something sweet. I know the fruit is sweet, but this is a Go macro bar. I've actually never had one of these, so I'm trying it out. It's the peanut butter chocolate chip one. So protein but sweetness. And then I got a couple beef sticks. And so, like I said earlier, I don't typically do veggies because I don't want to just chomp on raw veggies. I will, but not when I'm traveling. It's not fun, it's not exciting, and your drive is kind of boring sometimes, so I want something a little fun and exciting. Protein, because it's satisfying. Carbs, because they're also satisfying. That's what I mentioned earlier. Breakfast sandwiches, carbs, protein, filling, satisfying. If you just eat fruits and veggies without protein, it's kind of like your belly might feel physically full, but you're still craving something. So I'm a big fan of beef sticks, cheese sticks. Something I didn't get that I will get sometimes is a trail mix. And you don't have to get like the just dried fruit and nuts one. Like, I'm someone who likes the sweet and salty trail mix. Give me some chocolate in there. And another thing is some Len and Larry. You may have seen their big cookies, their big protein cookies. I don't mind those. I like the oatmeal raisin one. That's my favorite. But they sell little cookies that are really good. They taste very similar to Chips Ahoy. So I would recommend those. And that gives you your sweet fix, your crunchy fix. And sometimes I like something crunchy, like some pretzels, or maybe a small bag of chips. Like, you don't have to, sorry, there's a hair right on there. It's bothering me. Travel snacks can be fun. Like, traveling can be a chore, so your travel snacks can be fun, but they can also be well balanced. So cheese, meat, I definitely want some fiber in there, some carbohydrates just to keep me satisfied. One thing that I do come across sometimes, especially if I get like candy, which I get every once in a while, or like those cookies, even though they're quote healthy cookies, they taste super similar to the crunchy Chips Ahoy ones, is I get bored when I'm driving. And so it's towards the end of my drive, or I'm in traffic and something is just bothering me, and so like eating is the one enjoyment I'm getting at the moment, and I try to avoid that. And so one thing that I do, especially in the past year, is I listen to audiobooks. Before that, I listened to podcasts, and the one thing is you can queue up podcasts, but I like having an audiobook. It just plays. It'll take me, for the most part, unless I'm finishing one or it's really short, it'll take me through my entire drive. I'm not messing with the radio or my phone at all. And so driving can get boring, traveling can get boring. If you're the driver, audiobooks, podcasts, like cue something up that's going to keep you mentally engaged but not distract you from your traffic. Drive safely. And if you're a passenger, bring some sort of activity with you. Make sure you bring your chargers if you're using technology, books, games on your phone, whatever it is. If you're a knitter, crocheter, maybe you can bring a little craft that you can do in the car or on the plane, whatever. So that's where we're at. I'm going to hop back on the road. I'm currently listening to Shady Hollow. It's kind of an autumnal book, but it's set at like the end of August, I think the author said, or the book it tells you in the book. But it's a murder mystery, and the characters are animals, and it's kind of like a cozy murder mystery. So we'll see. So I have made it home. I think it's like 7:45 right now. I've been home for a little while, but to wrap up what I've eaten today and how I'm going to eat now that I'm home. So I ate everything that I bought, and I didn't make any other stops, which is unusual. I usually make one more stop before I make it home. I didn't this time, and I think if I would have stopped, I might have picked up one more snack. And I wasn't hungry, but there were times in that last stretch of driving that I wanted to eat something, even though I knew I physically didn't feel hungry. So it was like I mentioned, sometimes you're bored or you're agitated, and eating can be something that you turn to like distract you or numb you from those feelings. And so just keep that in mind. I finished my audiobook. I'd give it a 3 out of 5. It was cute. For some reason, murder mysteries they're not my go-to right now, because I'm surprised with who did it, but it's underwhelming surprise, and so I'm just like, but it was cute. So now that I'm home, I am hungry. I have a little bit of Thanksgiving leftovers, but I'm not really feeling that, especially since I just want to unpack, and then by the time I unpack, I kind of just want to go to bed. So I'm going to make a smoothie. So when you get home from traveling, it's okay to eat a full meal. Again, going back to, you were traveling today, you didn't work out, you weren't moving a lot. It's okay to eat a full meal, especially if you're hungry, especially if you don't feel sometimes you feel like your body just needs nutrients, like a well-balanced meal. Go for it. For me, I just want to make something that I just want to sip on a smoothie as I'm unpacking. And that's okay too. And another thing that's not eating related, but it's healing your relationship with food and your body image related, is sometimes on travel days, you may feel the need to get a workout in before you leave or when you get home. You don't have to do that. I had kind of wanted to work out because my body felt really stiff just sitting all day. I kind of wanted to do a shorter yoga, vinyasa flow yoga, just to get my body moving a little bit and to stretch a little bit and all that good stuff. I might not do that, and that's okay. You can get back into your routine, your regularly scheduled programming tomorrow. You don't have to stay up late. Tiring, even if you're doing nothing. Traveling, even though you're doing nothing, can be really tiring. And so don't feel like you have to work out, especially if you're working out because you feel like you need to burn off any of the food or snacks you ate today. It's one day. These single days don't matter as much as what you do on a regular basis. As much as what you do on a regular basis matters. So when you get home, if you feel hungry, eat. If you don't feel hungry, you don't have to eat right away. You get to make that decision for yourself. So a couple of the things that I meant to mention that I also like as travel snacks is sometimes your gas stations will have decent sandwiches or wraps, and those can be really satisfying. Again, you get your carbs and your protein, and you actually feel like you're eating a meal. Sometimes if you feel like you've just snacked all day, even if you're not hungry, you might just want to eat because you're like, I haven't eaten a meal. And sometimes having a sandwich kind of satisfies your brain of okay, I ate a meal. Check that off the box. I can move on with my life now. And so meat and cheese or whatever salad sandwiches, like an egg salad or chicken salad sandwich, whatever you can find that looks good. Sometimes stuff is real sketchy. But something that I've noticed in gas stations the past few years, and maybe it's just I didn't notice it before, are little off-brand Uncrustables, or maybe they may have Uncrustables. And a peanut butter and jelly might seem like a kid sandwich, but I am here for it. I find them really satisfying. The fat from the peanut butter is really satisfying. It really just hits the spot. And then that little bit of sweetness from the jelly gives you your sweet craving, and then again the bread, your carbs. And so it may feel like that's like a heavy calorie dense sandwich to eat if you're just sitting all day. But again, it's satisfying. It gives your body energy that you need energy even if you're not doing anything. Your body still has functions to perform. And find foods and snacks, and this might be a trial by error. Is that how it goes? Why am I having a brain fart? Try things and see what works for you. What works for me may not work for you. All you can do is try it out, and all I can do is share what works for me. So I'm going to sneak back in here real quick before I bid you guys adieu. One thing to remember when you get home is drink a lot of water. I drank like 1 water bottle plus 8 to 16 ounces, which is not enough for me. But when I travel, I'm hesitant to drink water because I don't want to stop a lot. So if you're driving or even if you're flying, you don't want to get up a lot. And so there's a good chance you've not drunk enough water throughout the day. And so if you are thirsty, sometimes your body will cue you to, hey, I'm hungry, when sometimes it is thirsty. So don't dismiss your body's hunger cues, but also make sure you are thoroughly hydrated. Hopefully these tips were helpful. If you're watching on YouTube and you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave your suggestions down below in the comments. Be sure to subscribe for more content. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and I'll see you guys around.